Rightio. So, I was asked a question the other day, and this isn't the first time it's kind of come up, except it's something that I just want to kind of discuss, I guess, or at least express. So, I was asked, when did I personally feel like I wanted to pursue a career within photography? And I thought it was really interesting because it's not something that kind of just, it was quite gradual, I guess. Right. It was quite gradual. It was slow to start, and then I started to just gain this momentum within myself that I was already so far in that I knew that it was something that I really wanted to continue to pursue, I guess. I'm just currently, capturing a quick panorama. It's nothing too special. There's absolutely no clouds. Currently just it's a classic autumn evening, so as the sun has passed the horizon, there was just a beautiful kind of orange hue that was just, consuming the horizon. So I thought, I'll just grab a few quick images, see what I can do with them. But yeah, ultimately I thought it was quite interesting because for me, I've always really had this creative itch within me. I've always wanted to be able to express my own personal self and I guess the unique characteristics that have created who I am. Like, I've always been kind of very creatively intuitive within myself, as in I've wanted to express that creativity. Like, I've always been into drawing, I've always been into designing. It was kind of something that I always knew I wanted to go into a field that was going to allow me to be creative. It kind of, for a long time, it was based around the idea of, I guess, doing architecture. I was very, very intrigued by architecture. I used to actually design house plans and floor plans as just a hobby, I guess, when I was about 12, from about 10 till 12, 13. I used to just always draw, like, it'd be kind of dream houses, things that I really wanted to, I guess, implement within a home if I had it. Which, yeah, I think that's kind of interesting because there was always that, push within myself to want to create things. And then I went into drawing. Drawing was always something that I really felt was a big release for me personally. For a long time I was recreating, whether it was images that had already been taken, I would then draw them, or it was something that I guess was already, an inspirational piece that I felt, I could recreate to kind of hone in on those technical aspects. And for a long time, I just constantly created those kinds of things just to hone in on my ability and actually, train myself to be able to create things that were, I guess, expressive of my own personal self. It was something that I really enjoyed because it just allowed me to take my mind away from what was going on within my own life and within my mind to, I guess, be able to express something else that was just, deep within me, I guess. And when I found photography over 5 years ago now, like, it's pretty insane that it is that long, to be honest. Like, I've gained so much out of it, and it's been a consistent kind of basis of experience for me personally, but it's interesting that it's kind of all culminated into being what it is today. So I always really, it was gradual that I went into, I guess, understanding that I wanted to be a photographer. For a long time I wasn't really confident in my own personal ability. I knew that I wanted to be at that level, except I didn't feel that I was able to actually, execute imagery which was at that high standard. I didn't have the confidence within myself to be able to do that or to learn that, because I felt like I was, although I started at what some people say is kind of an early age, I still felt like I was so far behind and that I had so much catching up to do and training to do, so that I was able to actually, create and capture. And I guess as a photographer, whether it be something like landscape photography or, capturing nature, capturing still life, or capturing subjects that aren't, incorporating human interaction, it's often something that is, I guess, not easier. It can be a lot more difficult in ways, but you don't have that aspect of human interaction, so you don't have to have those communication skills. You don't have to be a director. You have to be, I guess, perceiver. You have to see things, you have to view things, you have to have this kind of compositional understanding within your mind of how you actually interpret scenes and then curate something that's going to present it in all its entirety. So I think it's completely different. It's not only incorporating that creative aspect, but it's kind of allowing you to take it all in and then create something that actually you personally resonate with, or that actually puts in your own perspective and your own take on it, so that you can allow others to really view that and appreciate it. So I think that's what's kind of interesting about landscape photography, because you can express your own view, and although a lot of people view it to be, everything's already been done, there's always different ways. Like, there's so much that is constantly changing, and it's based on so many variables, whether it be the conditions or simply the natural environment, or just the environment that you're surrounded by. I think we are so caught up in thinking that everything's already been done that sometimes we won't even bother trying, and that's a way of finding excuses not to actually be creatively intuitive within our own self and how we can express our own unique perspective. Because everyone's got their own perspective, everyone's got these unique experiences that curate who they are and create, I guess, their own perception on how they view things. And I think to actually disengage with that is to kind of allow your creativity to just be dumbed down. Like, it's kind of putting it aside and just saying, oh, I'm not capable. And really, I think you are capable when you actually just allow yourself to express it, or you actually put that time in just to understand your own self, understand the environment that you're surrounded by, and what you actually want to capture, and what you want to really, what those intentions are, which is subliminally kind of curating what you want to do and how you can express that. So, getting back to it, landscape photography. When I knew I really wanted to, I guess, pursue a career in it was early on. It was just that I didn't really have that confidence within my ability, and it took me a long time to really understand that, I guess, what I had and the expertise that I eventually kind of molded myself around and I guess had was something that was kind of not desirable but valuable, and it allowed me to really hone in on my own ability to curate scenes and create imagery which was going to be unique and had that kind of unique aspect that did implement my own personal understanding and my own personal, I guess, perspective. And it does take a long time to really have that and implement that into your work. It's not something that just comes instantaneously. I mean, a style is something that, so many people think a style these days is editing and how you mash together so many people's different kind of editing techniques and then just like put a vignette on it and that's your style. Like, that's not a style. I think the way that you actually create, compose and view the world, that's a style. That's your own personal, something that you have that no one else really has, and that's once again molded on your own perspective and experiences. Like, the way that you idolize on the features, the way that you compose the images, the way that they interact with one another within the frame, how you interact with the subject that you're capturing and how it kind of connects with you. I think that's a style. That's more of, being able to express that and compose imagery which really inherently kind of allows that to be noted is something that's really powerful. And if you are constantly just, going between one kind of person's style to another and you're just looking for other people's work to be inspiration, that's when you don't really, I guess, have full control over your own creativity and what you're actually presenting. And, it's so easy to be inspired by other people's work, except you've really got to understand that inspiration is based on how you interpret it. It's not just taking the exact same images and thinking that's my work. Like, you've got to allow yourself to, I guess, have that whole theme within your own work that does, I guess, create this unique perspective. And when that's actually, I guess, executed in a way that, on a big timeline, you can go through and you can understand the features that you're actually trying to, I guess, idolize on, that's when it really becomes something that's a bit more, and you can really see those themes that go throughout the style that you've then created for yourself. It can be something that is powerful. It can be I guess, understood that that's your own perspective, that's the way that you view the world, that's what you want to express. Whether it be the different characteristics that you do idolize on, whether it be the features that I guess you really appreciate. There's so much more to it than just kind of, you know, snapping an image and thinking, that's great. I personally believe that it takes a long time. It really does, and it's unfortunate because so many people think that it's so instantaneous, but it does take a while to really understand your own personal self and express that within your own creative outlet. So many people these days just grab a camera and think, you know, almost instantly they're going to be the world's greatest photographer. And there's so much more to it, there's so much more experience, there's so much more learning, technicalities, you know, just the way that you can actually execute imagery which hones in on your ability. There's so much to it. I mean, I probably overcomplicate it. Actually, I have no doubt that I do overcomplicate it. That's almost... that's probably what you could call my style, but no, realistically, that's a characteristic that I've always had, and I've come to appreciate it, but it's definitely something that is within me, and I will overcomplicate things so that I'm able to, I guess, analyze them and then execute things to what I feel is, you know, the best of my ability, except the best that I possibly can actually capture and express, so that others can really understand what I'm really trying to, I guess, get out of my work, and, you know, understand that I'm not just doing this to blend in with the crowd, I'm not just doing it to do what other people have done. I'm doing this to express my own personal viewpoint and allow others to understand that you don't have to do what already has been done, and there is so much more out there that you can capture and, you know, put your own personal style into and implement it and execute it in ways that haven't been done before or do have this kind of unique aspect about it. Like, it's just so many people go into these, you know, they'll view like, say, a tutorial or a video saying this is like the 5 must-dos of photography, or what to do, what not to do. That doesn't mean that you have to, like, you know, you don't have to actually do those things. They're just kind of guides. They're just what you can try and interpret and implement if you want to, but it doesn't mean that you have to. Like, learn those rules so that you can break them. It doesn't mean that you have to actually take them on board and execute things that really, I guess, have those characteristics. You've just got to be aware of them. If you really want to, you can implement them, but it doesn't always mean that you have to. So that's probably me done. I don't really want to ramble on for too long. As I said, over analytical 100%, there is no doubt about that, but I guess, yeah, that's just something that I really wanted to, I guess, discuss. I didn't really answer the question too strongly, but I definitely will in the future. So, you know, that's probably me done, but I will catch you on the flip side, and I appreciate your time. Cheers.